What is up, guys? Archon and I'm here bringing you guys another episode of Patch Breakdown. In today's episode of Patch Breakdown, we are covering Hearthstone. This will be the Descent of Dragons patch, and while it is launching December 10th, I'm pretty sure this patch is putting all of the cards in now. I'm not sure if you'll have access to Galakrond before the 10th. I'm pretty sure that you do, as of yesterday's patch. There are five new legendary Galakrond hero cards, one for each League of Evil. Rogue, Rogue, Warrior, Warlock, Shaman, and Priest. Yes, there's Warlock twice now. Over the course of the game, he can be upgraded in 3 stages, each doubling the strength of his battle cry, with his final form additionally equipping a 5/2 claw weapon. So in this case, draw 1 minion, give it +4/+4, invoke twice to upgrade. The next battle cry is draw 2 minions, give them +4/+4, and after 2 more invokes, you get draw 4 minions, give them +4/+4, and equip 5/2 claw. So it seems like it's going to be really strong. It's going to be a matter of if you can get the invokes off the ground. It sounds like you have to invoke before you play the card. So you can't just play it and then invoke on top of it. So it's going to be kind of a risk reward thing where if you can get your 4 invokes off and then play him, you'll draw 4 minions, get +4, and equip a 5/2 claw on top of getting the hero card ability, 5 armor and whatnot. So when it comes to maximizing Galakrond's potential, invoke is an essential mechanic. Each time you play a card with the invoke keyword, you'll gain access to a class-specific bonus wherever he is. Invoking him twice will upgrade his base form from Galakrond the Apocalypse. From there, invoking 2 more times will earn you his ultimate form, Azeroth's End. Side quests. While the forces of evil are busy invoking the might of Galakrond, the heroes of good could take on new side quests to earn advantages of their own. Unlike the legendary quests you would typically build a deck around, side quests offer a more lightweight objective with moderate rewards that can fit into varying styles of play. Another key difference from legendary quests is that you can put 2 copies of a side quest in your deck. So in this case, you have the hunter summon 3 rush minions. The reward is summon a 4/4 griffin with rush. For the druid, it would be attack twice with your hero. Add 3 claw spells to your hand. Seems kind of weak. 3 claw spells, 4/4 griffin seems kind of weak too, but I guess early on, summoning 3 rush minions in the early game probably isn't the most impossible thing to do. And it is nice to see them, take away from the legendary quest, which would take an entire game in most cases to actually get her halfway through the game in order to actually pull off and make them a little easier to accomplish. Legendary Dragons. Corrosive Breath. Deal 3 damage to a minion if you're holding a dragon. It also hits the enemy hero. Deal 4 damage to a minion if you're holding a dragon. Also damages its neighbors. The dragon aspects are here in a way you've never seen before, along with powerful new proto dragons and Togwaggle's own candle creation. Waxedred. Can I highlight it? Shuffle a candle into your deck that resummons Waxedred when drawn. It's kind of like the Anubarak card, but kind of in reverse. So as long as he doesn't get as long as he doesn't get silenced, then you can just keep spamming this. That's kind of interesting. There's a total of 10 new legendary dragons joining the fight, 1 specific to each class, and the neutral Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. If your deck has no duplicates, add 2 random dragons to your hand. They cost 0. So this is going to be for singleton decks. That sounds kind of strong. It depends on what gets rotated and what's still available. I'm going to be honest, I haven't played the actual Hearthstone card game in a while. It's been a couple years. I wasn't able to play it on this PC, and I somehow found a way to do so as of late. So I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds. But it will be interesting to see what you can build around with Dragon Queen Alexstrasza and some of the cards from other expansions that like I said, I'm not familiar with. Each class-specific dragon will also have a corresponding Dragon Breath. These cards gain significant bonuses while holding a dragon, so remember to keep your friends close, but keep your dragons closer. So that would be the example would be these cards here if you're holding a dragon. Chronix Dragonhoof. Draw Galakrond. If you've already Galakrond, unleash a devastation. The Herald of Galakrond can earn you a sizable advantage whether you have already become Galakrond or if he's still in your deck. Use Chronix to pull a fully upgraded Galakrond, or if you've already become Galakrond, you'll be able to choose one of 4 game-changing devastations to unleash upon the battlefield. Huh. So you can use him to pull. So he doesn't have to be in your hand when you invoke. Okay, that makes more sense. I was thinking it was like, what was it, the crystal cards, or not crystal, but the potions, where you had to have them in your hand or whatever in order to upgrade them. So it looks like it's anywhere in the deck, kind of like a Cahoon. Sounds interesting. So here's your devastations if you've already played Galakrond or whatever. Deal 5 damage to all other minions. Give your other minions +2/+2. Deal 5 damage to the enemy hero, restore 5 hero to you, or health to your hero. Summon an 8/8 dragon with taunt. So Annihilation, I doubt will be played frequently enough. Like 5 damage to all minions. From what I remember back when I used to play the game, 5 health was pretty average. And then there was decks that the priest could make that would make 5 health look minuscule. So I don't know. Like there was a lot of things that would buff your minions that would get them above the 5 health that Annihilation would deal. Give your other minions +2/+2. So it's kind of like, what is it? Savage Roar effect. I know the druids used to have a card that was similar to this. I think it was just +1/+1 for all your minions. Deal 5 damage to the enemy hero, restore 5 health to your hero. That doesn't sound too bad. It can be used in a pinch in order to, like I said, finish off an opponent if you're playing like a rush deck or something. But if you're playing Galakrond, you're probably not playing a rush deck because it is 7 mana. You're probably just trying to end with Zoo or something. So I don't know. It seems kind of out of place. Summon an 8/8 dragon with taunt. That one sounds probably like what you're going to go with most of the time. Like, let's say your opponent only has a couple minions on board. You're not really going to want to Annihilation for 5. Especially if they're playing Zoo, you summon the 8/8 with taunt. And it might give you an attack on their face next turn as well for 8. So just depending on how many minions are on board, I guess. Annihilation's probably going to be better if they have a full board, whereas Reanimation will be better if there's only like a couple. Decimation's good if your opponent's low and you can finish them off with 1 hit. And then obviously if you're playing a Zoo deck, give your other minions +2/+2 is always good. Spread your wings and soar into battle as the ultimate dragon. Log into Hearthstone anytime within the first 90 days of the launch of Descent of Dragons and receive 3 Descent of Dragon cards packs plus 2 copies of Shield of Galakrond. So you get 2 of these automatically. Taunt, Invoke. So 5 mana, 4/5 is not too bad with Taunt. Plus it gives you 2 Invoke cards right out the gate. So you can at least get them to level 2. Additionally, when you go to open your pack, you'll receive all 5 legendary Galakrond hero cards. Now that you're well equipped for a Draconic Conquest, embark on the new legendary quest chain to earn gold and even more packs. I am glad to see that these Galakrond cards are not being sealed away inside the packs and you have to open them and get lucky as a legendary in order to get them. That's kind of the downfall of the legendary quest system that used to be a thing, where you would open up the pack, you'd have to get the quest or craft the quest in order to get the card. And if you weren't lucky enough within your first couple, let's say you're not a pay-to-play player, and you only do arenas in order to get card packs, it could take you a lifetime and a half in order to even get there. By the time the end of the expansion's there, you've finally got your quest or whatnot. You're almost better off making other decks that were cheaper, like Zoo decks. That's how it's pretty much always been for Hearthstone. You're almost always better off just making a Zoo deck if you're not, buying card packs with actual cash. But I'm glad to see that they're kind of doing away with that a little bit. There's still going to be legendary card packs, obviously, with like some of the other cards, but they're not forcing these cards behind a paywall. So you can actually get in on the theme of the expansion. Pre-purchase Descendant style with these bonuses. Not worried about that. That's just the pre-purchase for the cards. For coming soon, Galakrond's Awakening. The final battle in the Year of the Dragon solo adventure story is Galakrond's Awakening, coming this January. We won't spoil too much, but we hope you're ready to battle evil, or good, and collect 35 new cards. So it's going to kind of be like the desert that we just got. I can't think of what it was called. I remember watching somebody play through it, though. I'm assuming it's probably going to be like it was a League of Explorers thing, where you had to face off against the bosses and that, so it's probably something like that. And what I'm here for is Hearthstone Battlegrounds updates. They're adding Edwin Van Cleef. Sharpened Blades cost 1. Give a minion +1/+1 for each minion you bought this turn. So this sounds kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of Dancing Daryl in a way, except for instead of buffing, give a minion +1/+1 for each minion you bought this turn. How does it? Okay, so you play it and then you don't play it. Sorry, you buy all those minions you want, sell them, and then you play it, and it gives your minion a +1/+1 for each minion you bought this turn bonus. Sorry, I was confused reading that for a second. I was thinking you activated it and then did it, but that wouldn't make sense. So it's like it is like Dancing Darrow though, except for kind of in reverse where you buy and you don't have to worry about keeping the 2 minions that you want buffed on the board. You can sell them. You can sell like all the minions on the board and then, you know, buff a minion for, let's say you're at 6. You could buff it for whatever. You know, probably at most you're going to see is maybe 4/4 or 5/5 worth of stats from that battle cry, because you can, in theory, only buy 3 minions without selling any of the other minions. But then you also have to add in like token minions, as well as like, let's say the Murloc that discovers more Murlocs. If you happen to get lucky, you could, you know, get a couple of them out of the rerolls, and that's 2 gold back per minion in a sense. And if you happen to get Tidehunter, it would be 3 if you didn't already have a full board and you had 2 spots available. So you could use like I said, Tidehunter with that Murloc in order to just keep funneling gold to keep buying minions. But like I said, in theory, you're probably only going to get, you know, +3/+3 or +4/+4. And if you're able to reach +5/+5, I doubt you'll see anything too crazy with the hero power. But I mean, +5/+5 really isn't that bad if you're already got a board you're confident in. It's still a nice little quick buff. Sylvanas Windrunner, Banshee's Blessing. Costs 0. Removes a friendly minion to give adjacent minion +1/+1. Huh. This one right here might actually be broken. Sylvanas is... It sounds extremely broken. And the reason why it sounds broken is because if you get to pick which minion, because it doesn't say remove a random friendly minion, it says remove a minion. In the late game, when you're buying buff cards to try to buff out your minions in that, instead of selling them back to Bob, you can just do this to get an extra +1/+1 for those stat lines instead. And yeah, sometimes it is better to, you know, buy the minions and sell them back to Bob and then, you know, get 4 gold or something and fish for another buff. But you can now, if you want to, turn these into +1/+1s instead. So Metal Tooth is now 4/1 worth of stats. Or the one that gives your beast +2/+2 is now +3/+3. So it'll definitely be interesting to see and keep an eye on Sylvanas. I think that she's got some potential to be a broken hero. Arc Villain Rafam. Costs 1. Next combat, add a plain copy of the first minion you kill to your hand. Note, this is an unbuffed non-golden copy. This actually could also be pretty broken, because it gives you board advantage for 1. And even though it isn't buffed, obviously in the early game, this is going to be super strong. Like if you kill a Murloc Tidehunter in the early game and you play this, then what ends up happening is you're just getting free tokens, which you can then turn into gold and get a higher advantage on everybody else. Again, this is just how I'm reading the card, or reading the ability, but it definitely sounds like it could be strong. Edwin Van Cleef, I think, will be a little weak. I think Sylvanas will be really strong, and I think Rafam can be super strong. Especially in the sense, like, somebody goes... What is it? It's kill, right? Yes. So if somebody happens to get Mama Bear, and for whatever reason misplays around Taunt with, you know... Because it does happen. Or, sorry, misplays around Cleave, and they put their Taunt next to Mama Bear, and you have Cleave. Let's say you're playing Hydra, you could actually snipe the Mama Bear and get Mama Bear added to your hand, or if they play Shifter Xeris or whatever and happen to get one on the next turn, there's a chance that you could probably kill Mama Bear and get that card added to your hand, and now you have a Mama Bear and can go beast in the early game and just snowball. So, again, interesting concept with Rafam. There's a lot of cards that you're going to need to keep an eye on. There's going to be probably a lot of amalgams that are going to get got this way. And you can even use it, it sounds like, to make a triple. So if you need a triple and you know somebody has a card and you keep happening to go up against that player, you could probably get lucky enough to max out an amalgam late game or something. Anyways, Heroes the Leaving. Patches the Pirate. I don't really have any feelings on Patches. I didn't think that he was insanely good. He was okay in the early game. He was kind of like an early game Ragnaros, if that makes sense, whereas Ragnaros is more for the mid game. Rag can actually close out some games for you to win, whereas Patches didn't feel like he could do that, except for like maybe in the first couple rounds. Bartendatron, his power was also pretty weak. It didn't really change anything because of how his hero power worked, where it only reduced the tier cost by 1. And even if you could get to 6 first, there was no guarantee that you would get anything worth playing. So he definitely felt kind of weak compared to the other heroes that actually have, onboard effects. Pyramid, he was the one that gave your minion, a random minion +2 HP. Another minion that didn't, or another hero that just felt like he had an incomplete power. Putricide I am a little sad to see, because there was combo potential with Hydra and a lot of cleave decks, as well as, like I said, Hydra and Foe Reaver. I was drawing a blank there for a second. Anyway, he was all around good in the early game as well. No way to highlight him, right? No. Trey Prince Galawix, another hero whose hero power kind of was a little underwhelming. He basically made it to where, let's say you ended up with somehow 1 mana floating, or 1 gold floating, you could turn that 1 gold and make it so you had 11 mana on the next turn. So he wasn't insanely useless, but at the same time, it just there really wasn't a lot of situations where it came up where you would have 1 gold floating in the mid to late game. Heroes returning. Millie is returning, and I'm kind of happy about that. I liked Millie. She's the one that gives mechs +1/+1 when you buy them. I thought that she was really strong back before they took her out of the rotation. And Lich Bez Heil. I want to say she's the one where you pay 2 life and you gain a gold. It's like 0 cost. I'm pretty sure that's who that one is. I didn't really roll that one a lot when I was playing Battlegrounds. It seemed like she was one of the few heroes that you just never really seen. New minions. King Bagurgle. So they're adding more Murloc support and Demon support. Give your other Murlocs +4/+4. So basically they gave Murlocs a Fenrir, that like what beasts have, where when he dies he gives your minions +4/+4. So honestly, if you run Braum and Murlocs, and after you play Braum, you play this guy, it buffs all your Murlocs like +8/+8. Or if you can get him maxed out 16/16, you can snowball a game pretty quick. It's a 5 cost too. 5's pretty easy to get to. 6 is where it gets kind of awkward. It is good to see demons getting support as well. Floating Watcher, whenever your hero takes damage on your turn, game +4/+4. Demons definitely needed a lot of love. Like, there just wasn't a lot of early game demons that were good. Trying to think now if there's any that are really good. I mean, you have Imp Gang Boss in the early game. You do have the guy that deals +3 or deals 3 damage to anything when a demon dies, but by mid to late game that falls off and it's pretty much useless outside of removing Divine Shield from things. Please note the above image features golden version stats. Wait, why would you? Wait, why? Why are you showing us what the golden version looks like when it looks like a playing card? That's a little weird. So it only gives +2/+2 then for Battlecry and Death Rattle, but once it's gold, you get +4/+4. Okay, so it's not as powerful as I was thinking. It's not useless, but it's not as powerful as I was thinking. 12/6 where the stats is still gonna hopefully take something down. And the whole thing about Murlocs anyway is that you go Divine Shield, Poison, and then you just decimate your opponent that way. As for the Floating Watcher, I still think that it could be okay. It's oh no, shoot, it's the normal version is gonna be a 6/3. So it's basically gonna be the Murloc version of a Cobalt. The one that gives you Divine Shield when you play a mech. Okay, for a 5-star card, that's kind of bad. And I don't know if +2/+2 or +4/+4 in this case, because Battlecry and Death Rattle is really going to matter. If you can get it to level 3, then yes, it will actually be pretty good. Because if you get it to 3, in most cases, or you get it to gold or whatever, most cases you're going to have +4/+4 just off the Battlecry for everything. And then you play it again for 4/4, and you're going to have 8/8 for everything on the board. Plus the Death Rattle when it dies, so you're looking at what, 12/12 worth of stats. As for Floating Watcher being a 3-star, like I said, I think that that's fine. It's only going to be a 4/4, and it's only going to gain +2/+2 whenever your hero takes damage. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's whenever your hero takes damage. So actually, if they would have made this a 2-star card, this would have been insanely broken. Because the problem demons have right now is, like I said, they're just not enough good demons early, and in order to even go demons early, you have to lose a lot of HP. Whether it be from the 2/4 taunt demon, or from the Wraith guy that gives you +2/+2 whenever a demon's played, but you lose 1 HP for it. So it's almost like you're going to have to high roll if you want to go demons. And the problem still persists where, in order to get this guy off the ground, you almost want 3 copies anyway. Be interesting to see how they play out. Sorry for confusing anybody there, but I didn't read the little asterisk until after I talked about these 2 cards. I don't know why they're showing the gold versions when they could have just showed the normal versions, and we could have just assumed that everything was going to double on the card like it does when they turn gold. And then you obviously come down here and it says 2/2 and yeah, 2/2, 4/2. Yeah. Okay. So balance changes for minions. At the end of your turn, give a friendly mech, beast, murloc, and demon +2/+2 is being changed to, at the end of your turn, give one of those to 1 instead. So you no longer get +2/+2 and you can't snowball as hard. So Millie Mana Storm, since she is coming back, it looks like they're going to nerf her a little bit. All mechs in Bob's Tavern get +1 attack. They no longer get +1/+1. A little disappointed to see, but I had a feeling that's why they removed her, because mechs were stupidly strong when she was around. And they're still kind of strong now. Looks like they're nerfing Patchwork too. I feel kind of sad about that, because Patchwork really doesn't give you anything outside of the extra 30 health or 20 health or whatever it is. And to see him go down to 50, that's definitely going to hurt his ability to just snowball to 6 and then run people over late game. That's pretty much what Patchwork's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to use your health as a resource in order to get ahead of everybody else in the early game. And then you're supposed to be able to snowball in the late game, because you had the extra health to lose. If you guys go check out some of the other videos on the channel, I actually played a Patchwork game where I showed this with Murlocs, where I played and lost a bunch and then ended up winning anyway because I managed to get my Murloc off the ground. AFK is also getting nerfed. Skip your first 2 turns, start with a minion from Tavern Tier 3 and 4. Now it's start with 2 minions from Tavern Tier 3. Ouch. So this is a big nerf for her, because Tier 4 has a lot of good cards in it now. A lot of mechs, a lot of good mechs. I think, well no, I guess Cobalt's still a Tier 3, so you could actually start a game with 2 Cobalts, Guardians, and snowball from there with mechs. Or you could actually even come back up here and get a floating watcher, and then that would let you go demons. So you could freeze your first board if it has, you know, like the 2/4 demon, the 1/1 demon, and that, or not demon, the 1/1 guy that buffs whenever a demon's played and deals 1 damage to you. You could do a combo there where you kind of hope that you get a floating watcher, play him, then play the 2/4, and then play. Well, no, sorry, you'd play the watcher first. You'd then play the Wraith Walker guy. Then you would play the 2/4, which would then deal 3 to you, and you'd buff your watcher twice. So it would start out at basically an 8/8. Whenever you hire a beast, give it 1/2 swaps type each turn. Whenever you hire a beast, +1/+1 swaps type each turn. So they're buffing or nerfing the Rat King. Sorry. Is it just for King of Beasts that this is getting hit, or is this for all of them? Looks like it's just for King of Beasts. I'm guessing it's because beasts are insanely strong as well as mechs. So this is their way of dealing with beasts. The Rat King, so +1/+1's still okay. I guess if everything else gives +1/+2, it's gonna feel a little weird. And yeah, this is Lich, Basil, the other one that's getting added back in. Get a coin, take 3 damage. Get a coin and take 2 damage. See, that's more realistic. I would be more than okay with taking 2 damage. Especially like if I'm ahead in a turn, I can take 2 damage, and it'd be like I lost last turn, but I'd get a coin advantage for this turn, which would then let me snowball into the higher ranks. Instead of buying, so let's say turn 1, you buy your minion, you win. You can then use the hero power. I think it costs 0 if I remember correctly. You would do this, take 2 damage since you won the first round, hang on to the coin, and then you'd buy you'd buy your level up to tier 2, still have 1 minion on board, and then on turn 3, instead of having that awkward 2 mana or 2 gold float, you could actually use the coin that you did earlier in order to just level up if you didn't want to buy a minion. I think it's going to be really strong. It's just going to be a matter of how people learn to play around it. I definitely want to try it. I'll have to put it into practice and upload a video for you guys. The great Akuma's, the Secrets guy, we'll just call it Secrets guy, will now be harder to get Ice Block consecutively. Removed Hand of Salvation as a possible secret. So they removed a secret and now made it harder to get Ice Block in back-to-back rounds. This is so dumb. Advanced stats are now live for players who own 10 or more Descent of Dragons card packs. I hate that they're putting this behind a paywall, by the way. From the Battlegrounds lobby, so if you own 10 or more, I'm guessing, can you get them through Arena and get the 10? With this update, players on low-end devices may experience degraded performance. We're continuing our efforts to address this issue. In-game shop. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The bonus will be $10 for Hunter. Winter Veil celebration. Yeah, just a bunch of different card packs from all the past expansions. The Arena draft pool has also been changed. And we're getting basic, classic Blackrock Mountain, the Grand Tournament, One Night in Karazhan, Knights of the Frozen Throne, Rastakon's Rumble, and Descent of Dragons, obviously. Game improvements and bug fixes. Echo, copies of cards with the Echo keyword can no longer cost less than 1. I'm guessing there was some type of thing that you could do. I'm assuming it might have been Mage with their, what is it, Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Echo Bell, maybe? Where you could just infinitely buff something until the turn ended. Full Arcane Dust refunds will be available for the following cards until December 19th. Snip Snap, normal only. Glinda Crowskin, normal and golden. Sound the Bells, yep, that's what it was. This change is targeted at a very popular deck in WoW that utilizes Snip Snap along with the Echo mechanic to generate extremely large minions or near infinite damage. This change should put a stop to that interaction while having very limited impact on the average use case for Echo cards. Glinda, Snip Snap, and the Sound of Bells were the 3 cards that took advantage of the generating 0 cost copies through Echo, so we've opted to refund all 3 of those cards as a result. So it's good to see them actually going out of their way in the normal Hearthstone card game to nerf Wild as well. Keep that balanced, even though I don't think there's any competitive format for Wild. Zephyri's improvements fixed a bug where minions with both stealth and taunt, such as War Druid Lati, weren't properly accounted for. Fixed a bug where weapons would sometimes be offered as a removal option against stealth minions. What am I supposed to use with this sword? Oh man, you gave me Fiery War Axe? What am I supposed to do with this? Choose 1 cards now account for having the choose both effect. Okay. Fixed a bug where Starfall could be offered as removal against a single minion. Fixed a bug where Earthshock was incorrectly offered as removal against targets that were reduced to 1 health by Shrink Ray or Equality. Adjusted how Zephyri's values enemy death rattles. Fixed a bug with lethal calculations, including rush minions not eligible to attack heroes. So I'm guessing that if you were at like 3 HP and somebody Zephyri's you, they'd get a rush minion and couldn't finish you. Fixed several bugs involving certain cards not being offered. King Crush, Faceless Manipulator, Shadow Madness, and Doomhammer. Battlegrounds. Fix an issue where tripling Replicating Menace could add the incorrect stats to the target mech when mechanized. So basically what it was, I do remember hearing about this. There was a bug where if you tripled the Menace and then attached it to a card, it wouldn't spawn 2/2 tokens, it would spawn 1/1 tokens. So that's what the fix is targeting. There you go. Fixed an issue where tripling Replicating Menace did not double its card effects, like I said with the tokens. Fixed an issue where Ice Block could trigger during the recruit phase. So I'm guessing if you went Demons and had Ice Block, you could proc your own Ice Block and not kill yourself and keep buying Demons. I mean, it's not very effective, but I was kind of curious about that. I thought about testing it to see what would happen back when I did get a chance to play that hero. Fixed an issue where players could sometimes not recruit a minion during their first recruit phase. I've not run into that bug, but that sounds horrible. Fixed an issue where Poison Blade would get replaced by Ancient Blade instead of getting +1 attack. I'm guessing these are not Battlegrounds anymore. Shurella is now discounted by spells that get countered, but will no longer be discounted by spells that are paid for with health. Okay. Fixed an issue where minions summoned from death rattle effects would sometimes not appear in the correct position. Fixed an issue where taking fatigue damage would improperly extend the current turn. Shadow reflections generated by Valera the Howl now function properly if discarded and then created by Soul Warden. Fixed an issue where Shapeshift Druid cards had a last known in-hand cost equals 0 to trigger, which triggered Darklight Torch when looking at even cost cards. Shapeshifted Druid cards now retain their pre-transform cost. Buffs made to Cthulhu, while it is still in your deck and not from ritual cards, now count towards all if your Cthulhu is at least 10 attack effects. Fixed an issue where Curator in One Night in Karazhan Adventure, where rush minions would forget to check if the opposing hero had taunt when looking for valid targets. Fixed an issue where the client was not considering cards that had read a value from a variable rather than the card text when determining spell damage. The damage itself was calculated correctly, but the visual indication of the spell damage was missing. So, guys, that's going to do it for the Hearthstone patch breakdown. I covered both Battlegrounds as well as Hearthstone because they're obviously the same game. It's not like a separate thing. If they ever get around to, somehow moving Hearthstone into the Blizzard, they end up moving Battlegrounds to the Blizzard launcher, then I will cover it as its own separate patch. But until then, whenever Hearthstone has an update, Battlegrounds or the card game, I will try to cover both of them. Hopefully, for those of you who actually play the card game, you will enjoy the new Descent of Dragons patch. Going to be a lot of interesting things, I'm sure, to test and explore. Let me know down below what your guys are looking forward to most from the Descent of Dragons, which cards in general. As for Hearthstone Battlegrounds, are you looking forward to trying out the new heroes? Have you already tried them out? Because this is a day after the patch came out. Let me know what your favorite new hero is. Do you guys like the new changes to Millie as well as the Lich Queen? Not Lich Queen, but you know what I mean, the Lich lady that I never got a chance to play. Like I said, do you think the new heroes are going to be broken? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for taking the time to check out this patch breakdown. I do these for other games as well. I do them mostly for Call of Duty. I have wanted to do them for League of Legends, but I'm taking a break from League right now. I might consider doing fighting games or other games in the future. If you guys want me to take a look at a patch breakdown, feel free to tell me the game down below, and I got no problem going out of my way and taking a look at it. Even if I don't play the game, I can take a look at it and give you kind of my thoughts, just based around perspective, first look perspective. Anyways, thanks for watching.